manju shuri ye, nama su shuri ye, nama u dama shuri ye so. Om namo manju shuri ye, nama su shuri ye, nama u dama shuri ye so. Om namo manju shuri ye, nama su shuri ye, nama u dama shuri ye so. Yunang zogi chunang la, jangju bandu nani gyabsu chi, dagi chenye gibe chonangi, yola penche sangi chuba yu. Megi chukshi me chokcha, rira lingshi nide genpa di, sangi shendo mi te wayi, yogi nangda shenla chuba yu. Ida nguru rana menda laka, diya da ya mi. So we said motivation. For the sake of all sentient beings, I'm going to receive and practice according to the Mahayana teaching, my training.
Oh yeah, thank you. Tadi kazi did you ma? Shila Rachita, Dama Rachidani, Pachi Chiba Yimidosi. Tadi Pachi Dodo to Stilas and to Stuatans. Tadi Dodo, like Pachi at Dimbarishas, and the Chandula Rita, Chemata, Chishita, Samananga, Shinjuchi Tainde, Pachi Loha Jitadi, but you saw that actually. That is a Chidana, so Yaki. Pe kunchi tende pe kunsen bo tende logic ramas chidang ngai hidu chede chibu ro da dema che lama selim bada tamara chita ya di chi bare sitni chitang bu da deso samada kunsen bo ke kadi ramas de jela chance kunsen bo tende rawa ina de mas jele andesa sila de samana hapu ro.
So regarding the questions Dr. Ko asked in previous class about I talk about Sila Rashita and Dhamma Rashita probably being the same person, and then Dr. Ko then further asked the questions, isn't Sila Rashita was the one from whom Lama Atisha received ordination? Then whatever Dr. Ko asked and referred to is correct, that Sila Rashita was the one from whom Lama Atisha received the ordination. And I have checked several texts, for example, Lamrim Chenmo and also the Four Annotations, another commentary text on Lamrim called Four Annotations. Then it shows that Sila Rashita and Dhamma Rashita are two different persons. And however, I do not find very reliable sources that record about this. So, and even in some texts, I also encounter some of the saying that Lama Salingpa and Dhamma Rashita were the same person as well. So, in case if in the future, if you have encountered any reliable source of reference, and then you can inform the rest of us.
That was Jita the Southern also Chinju and Logi the Solata Chinju in a Logi and so Kunsembo Triwa. Chidan Dam Logi. 就是被控制不的啥吧？那他经常是干了，吃了那英国人是什么也是吧？就是逻辑人嘛，是逻辑就是老百姓，真的过嘛个给嘛是，过嘛都要给嘛是。那是胸前不嘛老的，也真的过多嘛都要逻辑就是这样就是过掉了吧？
Yeah. So there are many records or histories about those great masters. So, however, we must refer to those reliable source. And so, if you happen to find one, then please let me know. So we all of us will be benefited from it.
到底我怎么我主要意思是吧？老用的，深度拿什么些就完了，面积多了，那来吧这些讲马去做了，搞我们就去深度几级马些做的，包可以拿什么把它地区背景多了这些讲，包括单的，结果我们去动啊，那是什么说话意思？学了个你的吧，你学了个你的样子吧，那什么的第二东西，是吧
？So we'll shall weapon the first verse. Just as when peacocks wander in jungles of little poison, although they are extremely beautiful medicinal gardens, the flocks of peacocks do not delight in them, but instead are nourished by the essence of the little poison. Excuse me. And a second verse. Similarly, when the heroes enter the jungle of secular existence, although they are beautiful gardens of splendid happiness, the heroes do not become attached to them, for those brave-minded ones thrive in the jungle of suffering.
他听到了背的深度，马家那是做的是吧？本来马家那深度的那是多一些，但面积多少没多大，你这不动不了是吧？这里还长有这不，看这些同马人呢，但马家的时候得了高钱嘛的是，得了其他高不起话他得了差薪接的嘛的是，是吧？差薪没接这个是呢，可能个本来是不绿色呀、长大节呀，是不。要不剧要不要拍的，卡里头里呀，接的制度的身上，对了，制度的了弄起来，都马上可能，长大节对了呗，说把差了嘛都，但没就没到，懂了，还讲考虑这个呢，对了，差个嘛也是他的背头是吧？
So this first verse, just as when peacocks wander in jungles of little poison, although they are extremely beautiful medicinal gardens, a flock of peacocks do not delight in them. So use this as a metaphor that peacocks they do not like the medicinal plants or medicinal trees or medicinal fruits, no matter how delicious or how beautiful they looks, and those peacocks they do not take delight in them. Instead, peacock only eat the poisonous plants, and because of by eating the poisonous plants, the luster or the brilliance or the colors of their feathers will be increased.
他被这些天然讲说，你了话，他说了话，你把的猎物的话，看到。把我马下，可以拿出去把拿出的，但等到的，先经济是吧？让经济要多些先，可能是比他强就什么，就是强就什么了是吧？但让经济要多的先，这个可能性的，这就是强就什么，这就是强就什么的时候，他讲的，这的现在杜牧老师的年目病，那是不？那说，把我。 马家这个真度的拿是被下文的真度的拿，对吧？但就是想就是把个，被牛木本的下学堂，都木老师把等这个拿，按照西南突破等了，哪哈你要当的那么通说当东西，等这个是个被可以，拿，要像牛木工作的话，建立在等了嘛，是吧？等你看到计划能把这些事，他可能想就是把个现在给切是吧？ 接完了的，他讲的，你可以了嘛？的，现在点的，你接完了的，他啥机是地基，当可以呢了讲的，可以被地基，他农具必须做吧的，谁给年马老师必须做吧，看的就被地基必须做吧，要不然呢，但讲究是么的了，现在结个嘛的是，的了抢个嘛的是，是吧？ 데라 차고 말에 간다 디 마저기 배 매도 그 동라 이제 반나시 대나시 근데 이제 뭐 쉬어 봐이나 아들라 마저 배 매도 동라 참 마차바나시 내 자주 생각되는 거의 되지라 그래서 차고 말해서 대 차고 말 가스나 대 마차 진짜지 단 거의 동아라 바 소소의 이 공도 집이 저세 파워데 간다로와 거의 되지라 차바 먼저 맞을 때 찐두게 마저 소화나시 단 거의 동아 간디 지어 봐이나야 대 탄지 자주 생각나 현대 집이 파 예랑도 전에 대 간다 들이 등에 생겼던 등에 간디지나 대스 판단하네 현대 집이 예랑도 봐 주어 마도 거의 되지라도 자원네 때 차고 말해서
So the first verse is the metaphor for the second verse. So the what it's trying to say in the first verse is similarly when the heroes enter the jungle of secular existence, although they are beautiful gardens of splendid happiness, the heroes do not become attached to them. For these brave-minded ones thrive in the jungle of suffering. So what it means is those bodhisattvas, they abandon or they forsake their self-interest or they forsake the self-cherishing attitudes, and then they only develop the attitudes of cherishing others. So bodhisattvas, they enter into the jungle of secular existence for the sake of others. So in that jungle of secular existence is filled with different kinds of afflictions, so such as attachment, anger, and ignorance. So bodhisattvas enter such a jungle of secular existence, and such jungle of secular existence is likened to a very thick forest, a very deep forest as well. So when you are in it, then you since the forest is so thick, then you can't see the sky when you are in it. So so even though in this jungle of secular existence, there appears to be many happiness or many good things, for example, good things, good food, nice clothing, fame, respect, and etc. However, bodhisattvas, they do not attach to those so-called excellences in secular existence, just like peacocks do not take delight in the beautiful medicinal gardens. So and not only that, bodhisattvas, they understand they understand it to be a sufferings, a samsaric sufferings. They even transform those sufferings into transform them into something. Transform them as a means to work for the benefits of others.
지다 마저데 당원서 마 양제 지시와이나 마저데 간다로와 진두 세와데 지나가서 딜레 고고도 간다 진두도 마저게 진두도 사와이나 마저데 간다 수고 주베 땅다야 제바마도 수고라 누구 말이스 수고라 핑그리에서 진두도 사와이나 로와 핑그리에서 다 진두데 현대 차로라고 사와이나 다도 실마 jel레고 지나로와 마저게 코랑게 소화 제산하고도 다 진두라고 간다데 지신기 간다 지차도로와 나중에 지신나 원안하고도 지시고도 디비실로도와 다 디비지신 디비지긴 데부데 다 간다 자와다 제부 간디지나 이 마저 코로나 수고라 피아노도 누구 말이스 이 간디사가 다 코로나 될때 시고 데바이 룬치고서와 다 현다 데 룬치베칼라 다 현다페 만서페 다 메도페 동라페 니지고 간디 시범으로 연나 다 코로나 될라 가고 지금 말이스 될라 가봐서 지금 말이스 디 코로나 수고 메도 현다 동라 니지고 간디나 코로나 룬치바이나 코로나 수고라 피아다 리미세 게 우어서 말와 마야 선사 다 수수수수페 수고라 이야고이나 가리는다 데 미마제다 드로이노 나 같이 신고도 하고 그와 가르사고네 사모고야 가리네 오 드미선사 다 데라는 지구로 예스고
전도이나 대한 가르사 사고 유바인에 대한 신기요라
신고도
So in the first verse, it says, when peacocks wander in the jungle of little poison. So little poison, in English, is called little poisons. Yeah. So by eating the essence of those or those poisonous plant, and then it increase the luster and brilliance and colors of the peacock feathers. So peacocks nourished by eating those essences, by consuming the essence of those poisonous plants, and these little poisons refer to a specific type of a poisonous plant, and Tibetan is called Ponga Napo. So is I checked the dictionary. So it's a black species of aconite plant. So the plant is called aconite, and then is very it has different types of colors, and then it refers to the black species of the aconite plants. So by eating this specific poisonous plant, and this peacock is nourished by it, and then it increases their luster and brilliance and colors. And so even though there are beautiful medicinal gardens there, however, or medicinal plants there, the peacock do not take delight in them, because by eating it, it will not increase their luster or brilliance or colors. So even animal beings, they know what to eat to benefits their body.
다 들리선서 디 마자들 배샤는 가서 마자 되게 배로 다 진도 지나시는 가서 지게 차리시는 진도 된 가서 봐 사마루마다 사마로바다 수수는 뇌아시 망치라 뇌아시 두자 이렇게 시고로 진도 두서와 두자 이렇게 시고 다 두자 이마이나야 디 두자데 두자랑 배제 마다바 두자데 파 야보라 배지 땅 등기지 열에서 그러와 야보라 나도 지나 내차 했다 뜸을 그 중반에 두자 차고와 두자레데 다 진도 두자데 현달라 간디 롱제바이나 소라 랑도 리소라 내야게 내가 용으로와 이 두자레데 두자데 간다파 상보지라파 주야게 근디게 내가 열에서 근디 지야 열에서 근디 지야 열에서 내가 말했어. 와, 다 두드서 가서 저쪽 지난부터는 빼셔봐야 두 휴청 모셔보이나 될라미 인자만도 수고라 많이 가서 쓰리번다 오지나 많이 안자마다 손이 수고라 스피야 그리 소야게 제 인자만도 루에로. 다 내가 나시 전도 되지나 고 지난 샤 신다고 써나 시그레데 이나코 줄여줘야 수고라 피하게 된디코 니바 저등게 마자게 수고들 다 간다. 다 마자게 수고들 간다. 그 두대 간다. 코로나야 리포야 쇠야마도 만녀야 자와니 이거. 다 대가 나시 맞어 차다 모서게 내차 공조 나지야도 저다 다 두두나 그래. 저다 맞어 룬제바이나 맞어 리소라 내야마도 다 피해요 말 간다. 내가도 이어데 피해요 말데 이나 내차 기도 뚜무도 써봐. 롱제네 간디콜 피아서는 소통기지 여어서는 여르스 이 성계대 보 창조신 바시디 보 창조신 바 속에 내가 해당 소다 간다 마방게 수수 지라 제바이나 소바 신기 체도 봐 당들레네 신기 체 당들레네 될바 가와 좀 신기도 당들레네 현대 제사 봐 탈라봐 주투레서 그와 현대 지역 탈라봐 근데 현대 제사가 탈파 이제 통계돼 바오 간디 바오스나 라치 반지바데 파도 통계 신 코드 랑키치
라군다
신 코드 랑키치 신라파 코나파 제반징기치 랑 제반징게데 파도 와치 도 통계시 뭐 든디지게 다 녀무도스다 현대 지 파야나다 이제 통계 이우리 에스고만 맞아 내가 녀무들라 녀무도스라 롱체네 현대 지야 이나도 파지야 파샤 그소소 답이서 안 내고 있어요.
So peacocks, they consume the little poison. Also, little poisons is referred to the specific type of poisonous plants. So in general, when we talk about lethal poisons, it refers to something is not suitable to be eaten, and then if you were to eat it, and then it will harms you, or it will harms your body, or even cost your life as well. So in general, when we talk about lethal poisons, and then it is on the bad side. And however, and in these poisonous plants, or in these ingredients of in these poisonous substance, they are poisonous ingredients that we can leave it out, and then we do not we can extract the good ingredients from the poisonous plants, and then we leave the poison substance away, and then we only consume or only utilize the good substance from the poisonous plants. So there is a way to extract it, and then and bodhisattvas, they have the ability to extract or to transform them as well. So, and if the other sentient beings are non-bodhisattvas, then when they try to consume the lethal poisons like the bodhisattvas, since they are not able to transform it or extract the good part out of it, then it will cost them their lives as well. So even in the in the modern world, or there are many poisonous substances, or many poisonous plants or poisonous things, and then those scientists, they can extract the good substance out of those things, or out of those plants, for example, and then can use it, like for example, use it as a vaccines, or use it as a good substances that can help other sentient beings. So that is one way to show that they're able to extract the good things out of it. They're able to transform it into an essence that will benefit them. So by doing this, by eating the lethal poisons, then peacocks will not only it will not harm the peacocks, and it will benefit the peacock as well. So when we talk about afflictions such as attachment, anger, and ignorance, they are poisons. They are poisons, and they are very poisonous, and it will only harm our bodies, and it will cost our lives as well if we engage in it, and it will not bring any benefits to our body nor our life. So, however, they are beings who are able to extract the good part out of it, or able to transform it. So, and that refers to bodhisattvas. So they're able to consume it and then transform it into something useful and beneficial. So whatever, like when bodhisattvas who haven't abandoned the afflictions, for example, attachment. So when this attachment arise in them, or arise in their mind stream, and then they transform it into something beneficial for others' sake, or for the sake of other sentient beings. So they can transform it, or they have the method to transform it into something useful for the benefits of others. So when the afflictions such as attachment arise in their mind stream, they involve in it not for their own sake, or not for their own interest, and they engage in it or involve in it for the sake of others.
지금 된다 상황 당자 다 매체 니마 찌라 수소랑 그 미션다 상황 자원이 마당 수소랑 지금 당자 상황 당게 든디기 샤워 간디지나 제네게 돼 다랑 진지 인지게 다랑 진지세 든디 다 간다 미다 든도 간디지나 수소랑 체도 로아 내가 체리 인지게 때 나라랑 디치 체도 이상 수소랑 디치 체도 수소랑 체도 좋아 체도 어다 든디 코나 체게 돼 상황들라 다랑 진지세로 다 신진지세와데 신진지세와데 다랑 된다데 할려네 다 신을 做 손에 랑 된다데 做 모습아 신이 된다데 做 손에 에 소소가 빼나 레가지 레바이노 신달라 편치도 신이 치도 어떤데게 랑다 신이는 신조 신게 신조 신이 에다 간다 레가 랭게 고순지 쳐 간디지나 신기 치도 엘레니게 된디게 상바슈 쳔도들라 다 신진지 있으라고 신진지 아무 진지들 두스키로와 다 진지들 란진지 신진지 스미레고
so you heard about the attitudes of self-cherishing, and then you also heard about the cherishing attitudes of cherishing others. So bodhisattvas, they have these strong attitudes of cherishing others. So that means they forsake their own interests and work for the benefits of others or work for others' welfare. So previously, also probably I heard that some people they ask questions about so what is self-cherishing? So what is cherishing others? So in general, when we talk about cherishing others or self-cherishing, so the common words is cherishing. So what does it mean is you cherish, you regard something as very lovely, and you regard something as very important. You regard something as important and very precious as well. And that you are not able to throw it away, you are not able to let it go, and even physically your hands cannot. You hold tight to it, and then you hold tight to it, and then you will not let loose. So after we talk about this, the idea of cherishing, so you regard something as important, you regard something as precious, then we further talk about, so what is self-cherishing? So self-cherishing is you consider your own interest as the most important, and then as the most precious one, that your mind not able to let go of this self-interest. So self-interest top everything, is the most important of all. So whatever you do or whatever actions that you engage, you only think for the benefits of oneself. So whatever actions you do for the sake of oneself. You do not think about others. And for example, if you are staying at home or you go out, so basically whatever activities that you do, you only think of the benefits of oneself. You do not have others' welfare in your mind. So this is a self-cherishing. You consider, you cherish yourself as the precious one, as the most important of all. So even though we need to work and then we need to earn a living, however, you only think of oneself. So I need to work so that I can survive and so that I can have happiness. So if you work for this purpose or work with this in mind, then that is self-cherishing attitudes. And attitudes of cherishing others is the opposite of this. So the beings, they do not think of their own benefits, and they forsake their own benefit, and then they work, or whatever actions they do, they do for the benefits of others. So they consider others' welfare more important than oneself, or more important than oneself. So there are three doors: body, speech, and mind. Whatever actions they engage for the benefits of others. So that is attitudes of cherishing others.
我当然经济的新经济给大都是吧，什么都是上当是吧？对我来说，西方人多，也是地区当的两百，咱们我们都来就一些一起年多，对我来地方学吧。
No, okay, yeah. So that is the meaning of self-cherishing and the meaning of cherishing others. So I will continue the text. So because of that, those who are under the power of the cowardice that eagerly pursues happiness and pleasure spend their time in suffering. So if you, in samsara, if you want happiness, then we have to embrace the sufferings for the sake of others. So in samsara, if you want happiness, then you have to embrace sufferings for the sake of others. So if we do the opposite, we do not embrace the sufferings for the sake of others, we whatever we do, we only think of our own benefits, and we do not have others' welfare in our mind, and that refers to ordinary beings. And these ordinary beings also that ordinary beings is what the words cowardice or cowards refers to. So what is the meaning of cowardice or cowards? So ordinary beings, when when a good things happen to us, even a very small good things happen to us, then we just indulge in that happiness. So we are overexcited, and then we get very excited because of that small thing happened to us. Like, for example, if someone help us, and then we become very happy, and then physically and also our facial expressions also express how happy we are. So, and when bad things happen to us, then we get distressed easily. So we get distressed easily, and then we feel very disappointed and upset. We get upset very easily. So when bad things happen to us, and we get too excited when good things happen to us. So that is cowards, the behavior of cowards, and also that refers to ordinary beings. So, and because of only thinking about one's own benefits and do not have others' welfare in our minds, and because of due to this behavior, then we accumulate a karma, or we create a karma to be circle. We create a karma to circle in samsaras again and again since beginningless time. So that which causes us to circle in samsara again and again is these self-cherishing attitudes that only think about oneself and do not think about others. Then in some, and because of having created such cause of such karma, then we experience sufferings in samsara again and again, and we do not experience any happiness out of this cause. So these first two lines of third verse trying to tell us that we shouldn't act like a cowards.
Dami di kushu cheba soba nangshi tindi sona ni soso khanda dunge noya lama chig reyese te dewa le ya nyuang jebla chig ma reyese go ta de ro dami di kushu la sona ya ma reyese te nangshi chiya ya ma reyese go.
Yeah, so it reminds us, it tells us that we shouldn't act like a cowards, and if not, we will only experience sufferings, no happiness.
Jasi jimbo shiwa la jinju le njite dewa chine ba teki shenden de le chu njite dunge chine ba teki randen de le chu sne jasi shiwa la sonda jinju na tenda de ta chig man ruwa njite dewa kandi yoba na dewa chama shen jeban jibada shende jebale chu res wa shen tenda duya ta shen tenda dune shen jeban jibada de wale dewa chama de wale chung res lo dewa so dewa kandi jina ro dewa kandi jina ta shebe shende dubada shen jeban jibada de wale so la dewa de chung res ro dewa kanga ta dunge kanga da jite dunge kanga ran jibota ran deba chang samba de la tene de dunge de chung res dunge chung res de jasi chimo shwala ro dunga 간디지나 dunga 참아데 수 지보게 된다 랑 지보 체데 샤와 땅자 dun게 데 온게 데 dunga 가서 레바레스.
And Shantidevas says in engaging in deeds of bodhisattvas, all happiness in the world, it arises in dependence on working for the sake of others, or arise in dependence on cherishing others, attitudes of cherishing others. And all sufferings in the world arise in dependence on self-cherishing attitudes. So even Shantidevas support these points in engaging in the deeds of bodhisattvas.
This is that the Jelamaso, the new town, the Lemba, Lembe Semba, the Poitoji, part of Deva is the Sijini. Sinit or doing the raw. That dig it under the under the share would doing under the somebody by doji, out of Deva is raw. That under Tito, Shindy do not handle it, that just changes in the Alawa raw. Tito, Shingy Chido, that do not handle it, the just changes in body, just changes not it. All the Kanda, Jalapa, and Duella, Pay Chida, Sina, Toata, Dawashi was a power Nito Chivas. That Nanshi, the Jazzy Chanju Simba Digi, Shingi Chedo, the Dunga Tanda Lembatella, a Gawa the Troyton and Tanda Lembala, Junirua, the Shingi, a shower duet, Shinji shower, a dubi, Day Tochi, Shinji shower, duet, Day Tochi, Rani Pina, Sin de Mate Pachero, Cerone, John my junior, the Tatope, a Deva, you would answer. Other Deva, you would answer. What? Or the Shinji Chedo do not handle in the Shinji Pa, Chedo shower. Dubadi, they can't send Dilla Digi or Masi, the Juma Ceranima, this was a Tita Digi would answer.
And we continue the third verse, the third line and fourth line. So while the brave-minded ones who willingly accept suffering are always happy due to the strength of their courage. So bodhisattvas who happily accept sufferings for the sake of others, then just like a hero. So when heroes they are going to fight their enemies, because due to their great courage, then they happily or they very excited to go to the battlefield and then to fight their enemies. So just like this example, and then bodhisattvas, they also embrace sufferings happily for the sake of others. And because of having this in mind, so they engage, they embrace the sufferings for the sake of others, then not only in this life, bodhisattvas will experience happiness, even next lives and the future lives, they will continue to experience happiness because of this courage.
다 대지를 쇼로가 지니더와 된된 대차 진도 나단다 마제 대비 치만들 다마샤로 대비 소란치 란데지지 돈도 갈아 치유세 디 지지 진도 쇼로가 지 다 딜마 치여와 다 간다 다지 공도 지 시사로 안 대차데 진도 나단다 와더와 다 대차데 간다 진도가 나단다 와세 된 대차 진도 나단다 와데 nganso tindu na sewa mambo shina mambo chede shindu mambo chede dila chida na se lorwa shika chini so tuli chege chila chida na lo marwa na se ni taw marwa o teni ndo sha de tindu na la pe jaw teni na thubo tindu na na shi pe na thubo de na shi ndo sha de pe yane mambo chede ke 진도가 나나시리에서 내가 제타와 내가데 된디기 진도 나나시 나단다와 내가데 내가데 진도가 나나 빼샤거든 내가데 가서 빼 냐네 추딘도 쟁기지나 내가데 지가 요리에서 내가데와 다 냐네 마지게 되는 내가지야 이리와 다 내가지에서 그 요데 생지다 많이 니가 한다 와 가서 빼 강사 인데샤 다 제보 포모 간디나 두슬라 되는 데샤 지야다 다 제보 포모 많이 봐 신지 강사 많이 봐야 롱주 응보라서 봐 두슬라 되네 잡아지야 그러와 다 데차데 간다 근데기 나 진도가 나나시 배 양세 뭐뭐 제대야지다 까 수술에 제바이나 하마고기 그러와 레라바 누슈가 나시레서 레카나 누루바이나 파랑사 메바 소두고 말와 어때 수술은 내가 제우디 이 랑사 가시는 뉴스고요 내가 거라 제바 하고 보고 그러와 어때 근데 진도 나나시 예서 내가 한번 지지
So the next verse, presently, attachment is like a jungle of little poison. It is overcome by the peacock-like heroes, but takes the life of the crow-like cowards. How can the selfish overcome this poison? So the first line of this verse, presently, attachment is like a jungle of little poison. So attachment is like the jungle of little poison. And when we talk about jungle, so the concept with jungle is if you only have one or two or three trees there, then you will not call it a jungle, right? So a jungle is a place where there are many trees and So because such a thick forest or a deep forest, so what it means is attachment arises in us easily. So attachment arises easily, and it arises in the mind stream of even a practitioners. So even a practitioners, they practice well, attachment could arise in them as well. So don't mention those who do not practice at all. Definitely attachment will arise easily in their mind stream. And when we talk about attachment, so the object that we attach to, it could be a sentient being, or it could be insentient beings, insentient as well. So sentient beings like male, females, and etc. So those are sentient beings that we attach to, and non-sentient beings such as things and etc. So things, so which is non-human, non-sentient beings, then those are the things that we could attach to as well. So we not only attach to the animate, and we also attach to the inanimate as well. So these attachment arise so easily. So it arises, not only it arises easily, it arises again and again. And once it arises, we do not aware of the reason. We do not aware the arising of the attachment in our mind stream. So this attachment is so difficult to get rid of. It is likened to the oil stain on a piece of cloth. So I say you cannot remove the stains easily. Yeah, from the text, he is overcome by the peacock-like heroes, but takes the lives of the crow-like cowards. So how can the selfish overcome this poison? So this attachment, heroic, the peacock-like heroes, so refers to bodhisattvas. So peacock-like heroes, they're able to, when they consume the poison, consume the poisons, then they're able to transform it into a substance that will benefit them. And however, crow-like cowards, when they consume the same poisons, and since they can't transform it into something beneficial to their bodies, and it costs their lives, so they die because of consuming such poisonous plants. So, and bodhisattvas, when attachment arises in them, and then they're able to transform it into something beneficial for the benefits of others. They're able to transform it or change it, change it into a mean to benefit other sentient beings, and they will not controlled by this attachment. And these crow-like cowards, it refers to ordinary beings. They are unable to transform this attachment into something beneficial in them, and since they only think about themselves and do not think about others, so they are unable to transform it into something beneficial to others as well. So it will cost their lives. So how can the selfish overcome this poison? So selfish or cowards, it refers to ordinary beings. So these ordinary beings, when if they consume the attachment, or if they trying to put this attachment to use, put this attachment into something useful, since they are unable to transform it into something beneficial for the sake of others, therefore they do not have the ability to do so, and then it costs them their lives. So how do we transform it into something beneficial for others? So it requires the being forsake their own benefits and cherish others more than oneself. They put others' benefits or others' interests or others' welfare as more important. And by having this mind, then they will find, they will have the ability to transform attachment into something useful or beneficial for the sake of others. In general, when we talk about afflictions, there are many different types of afflictions. It can be attachment, the common one, attachment, anger, ignorance, jealousies, and the minds of competitiveness. So, yeah. However, here, this attachment is like the jungle of little poison. So specifically, attachment is mentioned. The reason. So attachment is specifically likened to a jungle of little poison, and on top of that, then when we take refuge in one of the in the refuge prayers, and it talks about the supreme of separation, free of attachment. I take refuge in Dharma. So I take refuge in Dharma, the supreme of separations, free of attachment. So even in the refuge prayers, it mentions free of attachment specifically as well. So it doesn't say supreme of emanation, free of anger. It doesn't say that free of pride or etc. So it mentions specifically attachment. The reason is even practitioners they are trying, retreaters, for example, they go into cave, they want to meditate in order to improve their practice, or even they go to a solitary place to improve their practice. And even for those practitioners, attachment arise easily. So, and even to some of the beings, when attachment arises, they don't even aware of it. They don't even aware the arising of attachment in their mind stream. So compared to anger, for example, and we get angry most of the time is because of one person, for example. So we must have an object, and then in dependence on that object, then we get angry. So it is not as it is not as easy to arise compared to attachment. And on top of that, this attachment, they like to disguise themselves. They like to pretend to be something else. So we always talk about we have loving kindness towards others. We have a loving thoughts towards others. We have affections towards somebody, for example, our friends, our enemies. Sorry, our friends, our parents, and our parents, friends, and our close ones, for example. So we do know that we have loving towards them, we have affections towards them. However, we do not recognize these so-called loving and affections towards them to be an attachment. And then and we sometimes we might even express it that I love you so much. I have a great affections towards somebody and somebody, and we do not know that actually is attachment. That actually is attachment, and 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 it is very difficult to to generate a pure loving, a pure affections towards others, the actual one, the pure one, and and how do we generate a pure or actual loving or affections towards others is the the loving thoughts and affections that we have to our parents, for example, and then we have the same affections towards others. That includes enemy and strangers. So if we have the same loving and affections towards them, then our loving thoughts and our affections towards our parents is pure and is the actual one. So usually this attachment, they're very tricky because they like to disguise themselves in the form of love, in the form of affections. And because of this, then we are very difficult to recognize such loving or affections to be the attachment.
그래서 이순서 다른 것을 지난 하고 운동한 것을 현차 파마다 빈접들을 현차 전부 것들을想把它 제와 휴치와 리고도와 현차 체와에서 들어와 다 현차 체와들 想把它 제와 휴치와 리고도 다 현차 시대 메사도 들어 想把它 제와 시대 리고도와 다 저도 다 간다 내샤를 想把它 제와 등当你这个 想把它 제와 많이比大的练我是吧过现下的练的是吧 자신 있게 내야 되고 그와 근데 내가 선자 단 내셔야 되고 간다 상반다보다 제원다보다 근데기 지당과 소속의 차바 계승선가 있어와니 야마서 한마나 내가 제와의 계승선으로와 그때 근데 지와 선자지마도 자신 있어와다 내가 세와다 수제나 하마고 비제우게 하요그나 요가고 쉬우지 차와 내가 세와다 당어서 레라 누슈잖아 앞에 출리야 가로마지나 시시땅아 지금 레라 누 로바데 시두고 말와 마신이 싸마상당 예바 두고 지으라고 주니베 서로 마지바이나 다 갈래 가보러 와 내차도 어째 제우디베 레 가보시 파유그나 가보시 두시요 단 내차서
Yeah, so to those beings that we attach more, and usually we will have a bigger love or bigger affections to them. Like for example, if we attach to our parents very much, or attach to our friends very much, and similarly, our so-called loves and affections towards them is greater. And if we do not attach to them so much, and then our similarly, our love and affections towards them is lesser as well. So this shows that our love and affections towards them is not pure. Not pure in the sense that it is contaminated by attachment already, or is motivated by attachment. And when we have these love, affections towards our parents, and we will only think to ourselves that I have love to my parents, I love my parents, I have affections towards my parents, and we do not think it as my attachment towards my parents has arisen in me. So we do not think in this way. We only think that I love my parents, I have affections towards my parents, and we do not think in this way that my attachment towards my parents and friends has arisen in me. So this attachment is very tricky. How to say? Once it arises, even though it arisen in you, you do not aware of it. It arises in you, you do not aware of it, and it arises so easily in our mind stream. And once it arises, it's very difficult to get rid of. So just like the example of the oil stain on a piece of clothes, that is very difficult to remove. So even though you're trying to rub it and etc., without properly washing it, and it's very difficult to get rid of.
Ayobi sotana nandu tiwa da kiche shia chama tani chewdi taso so yiche le khine de yarwa yiche le khine de yade ta degi juti chelo de taso so toba tani lig mare degi ta so pe choya da so liso la nenga yua tani chiba ina ta so pe toba me cha de ko ngoku shelo loja kanda toba lig mare wa ta so tobo yin number che de go wa number bi de go dan de chade de da wi chawo so liti chewde so pe ya ko yin sa sa zewa yo sa de ji wang do do ja ma do ta pe mo de ni zu dan de sha re sha sa de ni sa diskale ka bo yin wa kale ka bo yin.
Yeah, so even though attachment they lead us to the wrong path, and we do not aware of it as well. So because this enemy attachment, they disguise themselves in friends. So they pretend to be our friends, and then they talk nice things to us, that they even show nice facial expressions to us as well. So once we believe it, and then we entrust all our faith in this so-called good friend, actually is the enemy in disguise. And once we started to believe them, then it started to lead us to the wrong way, and then we do not know that we are actually being cheated by this attachment. And so to the extent that we do not have, even once we trust them 100%, so we will not even have any doubtful thoughts on them, whether they are trying to harm us or not, whether they are trying to rob us or not. So this attachment is so tricky that it's so difficult to recognize. And even though we have the love towards our parents, we even think that this is good, and we do not recognize it. We do not recognize this attachment. We do not recognize this love and these affections as attachment. So that is so difficult. That difficult to recognize.
칼라들라베 현차지부터 같이 뉴스도 말.
Yeah, so it's that difficult to recognize. So just give a very easy example. We go to a restaurant and then we see many delicious foods, the picture of them, or we see the actual delicious food, and then we think to ourselves that, oh, I like this food. So when you have this thought, I like this food, then you do not recognize it as my attachment toward this food has a reason in me. So we do not recognize it as an attachment, and we simply think that I like this food. And unless those practitioners, or unless those who actually pay close attention to their mental activities, they will recognize it. Otherwise, it's very difficult to recognize such thought, I like this food, as an attachment.
제자당 안서 미마제 배 생지 치다 시미노 다서 받듯 사마라베 등디베 땅 안서 지원하면 배 마보지 공바 차선대샤들 배 공바 휴침부 시밀에서 다랑 바샤데 원게 배 공바 휴침부 시밀에디 이런 휴지레는 앞에 치다부터 서이노 배 칼라티가 배 상가지네 배 시위 제무도 현차지네 와 들리려고 간다와 현차세와다 가서
Yeah, even those other sentient beings like animals, dogs and cats and etc., they also, due to habituations with strong attachment since beginningless time or in their past lives, when the food is, when they are fed, and when other beings feed them, and human beings feed them, they just rush to eat the food. And this is also an example how sentient beings is so habituated with strong attachment.
시오다 녀무신아 되기 자원의 샤로다로 타비서 디 다녀무신 해당 도무 세나 차동하지 아 녀무 뭐뭐 요러 다데 녀무 뭐뭐 지서 간다로 다 간다 디서 상마데 간다 보 장주 심바나지 다 신대시도 연락도 봐 지와라 다 간다 지바 지장을 장주 심바 대샤 신대집에 연락도 지바 나시 다 로와 도무 세나 차동 그래서 간리 중반이나 신대집에 연락도 받지 그래서 로와 지금 그래서 다 담마샤로 다버기 다 수수치고 다기 휴사이마 수수치고 담마샤로 다버기 랑 치고 때 단다 돈이기 디기 단 대차라 논제바이나 데 해당 도무 세나 차도도 설라 논제바이나 데 신대집에 연락도 가와줘도 그래서 타비기 소자가 내버려 해서 소소야 타비기 소자된 것도 달라봐 맞게 수준이 라바 뭐 여러 삼아라 와 나서 게네지 돈바 요래 자주 심비 돈바 요래 다 소타지 돈바 요래 다 등디기 돈바 라주이너와 다 등디기 만서 라바 수준이 라바데 타비기 소자데 대차로 수준이 라바데 타비기 소자데 와 수준이 라바데 자고래 대차왔습니다 다 되게라 논제바이나 타비기 소자게 수준데 인종로야게 내가 레고레마도 신대체비 하나도 가와줘 주세요.
Yeah, if they are also similarly involved in the other afflictions, these afflictions will cause the crow like their life. And so there are many other afflictions as mentioned, anger, ignorance, minds of competitiveness, jealousy, and etc. So if a bodhisattva is engaged or involved in, when those afflictions arise in the mind stream of bodhisattvas can transform all of them into something useful or something beneficial for others. They're able to change it as a means to benefit others. So this is what bodhisattvas do. So, however, when an ordinary beings, a crow-like ordinary beings, involved in others' afflictions such as jealousy, competitiveness, and etc., since they only consider their own interests, they do not have others' welfare in their mind. They will not, and they are unable to transform those afflictions into something useful or beneficial for others, or work for the welfare of others. So, and because of this, because of having involved in other afflictions, they lost their life. They lost their life force to liberations, and this life force refer to morality. So they lost their life force. So life force here is like a foundations to liberations, foundations of liberation, and that foundations refers to morality. So, and when we talk about morality, we have many different types of morality or vows. So morality of keeping pratimoksha vows, such as ordination vows, and on top of that, there are also, besides that, there are bodhisattva vows, and there are other types of pratimoksha vows as well. So if a crow-like ordinary beings involved in other afflictions such as jealousy, then they lost their foundation to attain liberations. So what it means is it harms their morality. So it harms their morality, and since their morality is faulty, they do not have the foundation to achieve liberations.
接着，当我说，他们下头大概说了，就是对下边的嘛，这些当兵的这些白发人呢，是吧？棒球上完全呢，必须弄这些去背些是吧？这你这样子就那背的东西的是呢，一些是吧？有那么呢？看到长久性吧的，大家现在就是了农经的现在的话，就对啊，就现在这个样子就对过了，就是农经的现在这个样子把就对啊东西。Dhamma sharo dhamma so jiwa rangdi ji chua zawa ni chi mutunge chi mutunge da hindi da kao ka chuna sama tunge tindi chigi de hinda nyomu wata so long jiwa ina de kanda da de rwa lumba dine parpa paran chung tuwa ina de wadi par manchu ma kona sana wale esa warwa nigi ma sani de kisi tiana wale esa warwa 다 대낭시 제바이나 대 담아 샤로다보다 빠워 chanju simba 낭시기 농 제바이나 대 간다 소소 답이 스틸라네네 마 와사와 낭시 마사노 그래 마도 판충주고 말해서
So there is a example. So in Tibetan, there is a saying that a place where horse jump over, yeah. Lungpa said it. Yeah, so a horse, they're trying to jump over, from one I don't know how to put it in a nice way. So it's a very nice saying. So you try to catch the meaning. So sorry. So like two rocks, and then in between there is a gap. So from one rock jump to another, a horse can jump over it to the opposite rock, or the opposite opposite. Can jump over. And however, a fox, if they're trying to imitate the horse and trying to jump over to the other side, and since they do not have the ability, and then they will fall into the river or ravine. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so it's like a river. So from one side, and then a horse can jump over to other shore. And however, since fox, they do not have the ability, the jumping ability like horse, then if they're trying to do so, they will fall into the river and then being carried away by water, and then fox will lose their lives. So similar to this example, bodhisattvas, when attachment arises, and then when they engage in those afflictions, since they have the ability to, they can engage in it, since they have the ability to transform those afflictions into something useful for others. So they can take it as a means to work for the benefit of others. And if a fox-like ordinary beings, they're trying to imitate the horse-like bodhisattvas and trying to engage in those afflictions as well, since they do not have the ability to transform something into something useful or beneficial for others, they will and these afflictions will cost them their life, just like a fox trying to jump to the other shore and end up falling into the river and being carried away. Yeah, so these bodhisattvas, from the sutra perspective, these bodhisattvas, they're able to transform or take those afflictions as a means to work for the sake of others. And this is from the sutra perspectives. And there is a saying from a tantra perspective as well. They're able to take it as a path. They're able to bring it. They're able to bring attachment as a path to work as a path. So this is since this is related to tantra, so I will not explain it further.
미소 여바지 미소인데 간소 리톰보 지간라 나시 장모 지라로와 lumbatis 나시 장모 든지는 레바지로와 든지는도 다 든지는도리 배 나시 장모 배 시고 장모 이비깔라 다 미니 간다로와 이게 코츠파 중고는 미소도 중고는 파 너비깔라 다 미소 중고 너비깔라 다 도로 배 또또 잡고 야고 쇼스페 저여봐 야고 쉬지 통네 다들라베 베투들라 현자 들라 찬로와 다때도 되도 많은 타시는도 상관 구슬라데 베투들라베 현자들 내봐지로와 다 현자들 레네 다 때도디 미니기 때도디 녀바지로와 미니기 때도디 녀바지 메리기 때도디 녀네 들라 현자 제바지 다 현자진에 때도디 녀우디 다 미니디 녀자리 다미 현자디기 당연히 저런게 때투디 저는 때투디 미기 방고 두아스 방고니 두아스 때 코로나 때 차니 쉬고 두아스 디솔파 데닐 트리지나스 다 미치기 당연히 전행이 때투디 니야래 백만에 전에 백 가와삼고 고가 쉬고 중샤스 당연히 전에 코로나 때야 니 페토부터 쉬고 중수사 때 가타치네 콜파 방고 차는 이들 때와시 다 딜라 때서디 담보코 딜라 현차의 제레데 당아서 현차의 힘이 되는 파주서와지 뭐보디 현다 강이 치는 딜라 파 제서와지 다 디치의 파 현차의 파 당아서 레모로 시고로와 다음에 현다되게 당아 싸워니 지금 있다 땡마라 라리 그런 것은 출 걸려 두고 말하디 다 싸워니도 말해봐디 레마되게 다들레 마투게 가서 내차의 현대 집에 연한다 실수다디 실수다
라,可以。
미치기 자원을这嘛对吧？就帮过现在就有的的，我早呢，他讲这是呢，早呢这头个不错，这嘛对吧？俺那可能是呢，他单到可能了就有的，单独的俺那可能是，去了头个嘛。哦，他的留下的怕现在了，怕就头个嘛，但我这背下我的背连木的个现在的话，哦，但现在这个可能当不现在接的话，对了，现在接的话，现在的介绍的每一的帮过的通过的。个被嘎萨起，他被也不休息穷散。我刚准了，我那的被连木的为习惯呢，但领导的为，他长期是不跟我说，怎么继续的，现在一样就当的，他被你都全部的话，嘛，当我说找不着为，上当把人家都是去，是吧？
Yeah, so I'll give you an example to illustrate how bodhisattvas transform afflictions into something beneficial to others, or take it as a means to benefit others. So the example is like this. So there are three persons, and then they go to a a high mountain. Weather is very cold, and then before that, then they went to a shop. They passed by the shop, and then these two of them, they passed by a shop, and then they saw a very nice, how say, nice warm jacket. So, and I said, by wearing it, then you will feel very warm even in the very cold weather. So, how's it? Then attachment arise in them. So they attach to that nice warm jacket so much that how's it? They cannot leave the place without buying it. So end up these two persons bought the two nice warm jacket. So and the third person said to the two buyers. So two of them bought already. So buyer one and buyer two. So the third person said to the first buyer. So you have how say you bought it already. So I happened to see one beggars. How say he's in cold. He's very cold, and how say do not have enough warm jacket to wear. So he's very cold, and how about you give this nice warm jacket to him, to this beggar who is in need of this nice warm jacket, and the first buyer happily offer this nice warm jacket to the beggars, because he see that this beggar is in greater need than than himself, in greater need of that nice warm jacket than himself. So he offer this nice warm jacket happily to the beggars. And the second buyers and also see this, also another beggar is also in need of a nice warm jacket as well. And this, the third person also said to the second buyer, so there's another beggar is also in need of this jacket, and how about you offer this? And since this second buyer is attached to the jacket so much that even though he already wearing one nice jacket already, however, his mind cannot let go of this nice jacket that he newly bought. So he did not offer it to the beggars who is in greater need than himself. So the first buyer is the example, has an approximate examples of how bodhisattvas transform afflictions into something useful or beneficial to others. They're able to take it as a means to benefit others. So first, this buyer has attached to these clothes. The attachment has arisen in him that he must buy the jacket and cannot live without that jacket. So first he attached to that clothes, and then he bought that clothes. And later he saw that there is a beggar who is in greater need, who is in need of this jacket. Then he happily offer this jacket to the beggar, and this is how approximately, this is how bodhisattvas approximately transform an afflictions into something useful or beneficial to others. So we are not able to practice like a bodhisattvas. However, we're able to practice something similar to the bodhisattvas conduct as well. So this example to illustrate how bodhisattvas, they approximately transform afflictions into something useful or beneficial to others. Yeah, so though we are unable to practice the bodhisattvas conduct just like a bodhisattvas, however, we can do something similar. So, and by doing something similar, then we also accumulate merits as well. So just like the first buyers. So if, so just like the first buyer. So two of them at first they also attached to the clothes, and however the first buyer they're able to let go of it and then to bring benefits to benefit others by giving it away. And however the second buyers due to the attachment and then he not able to let it go, and then he grabbed hold to he holds strongly to that jacket that he newly bought and did not offer it to others. So we should be like the first buyer, though the attachment arises in us first, and then we recognize it, and then we offer it to others to benefit others. So if we have this in mind, then we are doing something. We are also practice similar like a bodhisattvas, and because of that, then we accumulate merits.
Kanda Pao Maja Tabare, Kanda Randi Yato be Simba Chimbo, the Kanda Pao Maja Tabati, Tuki Nathan Data, Nyamu Mambo, Giorwa, and Deja Hidanas Mambo, Gior. That is the Hindu Mambo, a China, around a nearby Cheva, Pado, Susula, near Meba. But that Susula nearby Pado de Judo Josua, Judo Josua, the Hindi was a Talpa Juadua. That Rangipe. Lagi maja lipe susubi du sabana jude jo du zi jude chile susula suku ya tanga jia ta chang po changju se ba de nyamon de cha hida tumula sa ba zi sama jude jo sna hindi jibi josa ta sa ba jone dan de cha hida de da pa nemi sambi go ne de hindi che da pa tando lani de kanda nyamu ba na ma shomba chagre ese go wa nyamu sama yomba chagre zo nemi sambi to ne ta nyamu zo Jurba Nimi Sami Tony, that is over Shindiji and Samantani Tandalani, the Nimusama, a Yombatsa on Nimiba, Sagadi, Kanda, teaching the
and Yomon Sunday.
Nimi Sami.
On Nimi or
Sami. Nimi, then the judge that the Jew to do Nimi Sami Tony, Kanda, a Tandalanipa, that is on my Yombachi.
In verse number 6. Because of this, the peacock-like brave-minded ones combine the afflictions, which are like a jungle of poison, into an elixir and enter the jungle of secular existence. While willingly accepting them, they should destroy the poison. So here, the English word is translated as combine. So in other translations, I see that more often the words is translated as convert or transform. So convert the afflictions into an elixir. So convert the afflictions, which are like a jungle of poisons, into an elixir or transform. So just like a peacock, when they roam in the jungle of poisonous plants, and then they consume it, since they have the ability to transform into something beneficial or useful to their bodies, so that the poisonous plants do not harm their bodies. So a bodhisattva is just like a peacock. They enter the jungle of cyclic existence, full of afflictions, and however, since they have the ability to transform those afflictions into something useful or beneficial to others, therefore, by engaging with those afflictions, they do not harm the bodhisattva's being. And so, and while willingly accepting them, they should destroy the poisons. So how do they willingly accepting them? Is they accepting them by thinking the faults of those afflictions. So by thinking the faults of those afflictions, bodhisattvas willingly accept bodhisattvas, and they destroy the poisons or afflictions.
kalandi sawaina ya subola top jebo shibuji yungura kalandi sawaina pe subola masala chawesi kasi tatizo ndamda mobile udo subola todo chahati kasi masala kasi
muscular
muscle da tindi kanda da tindi chedo te sepachine sawaina tas kanda nea mata pingo mare wa tindi samantana jiyo mare 다 히디네 간다 공부를 두게 히디네 가리서 카세메단 다와 리바이 대자 히다메 바틴지데 자시말라 니비시말라 사시말라 리네 바히 시르스 다 나징아게 저거 기디틴 대하고를 와 저거 기디틴 대하고래 다 칼라 사비칼라 나서 메단 다와 나시 소소 앞에 수포 차보다 니제보다 제보다 덴디기 상나마당 바체 우라 덴디 상나마당 바체 칼라 사디 나주 가르쳐놓은 것은 지난 칼라데 나주 수고 체림보 당야다 간다 체림보 지데트야 또 디기 체들와 체림보디야 디기 체를 체림보디야라 상 가르tan 것은 이 체림보지 대바이나 딱된 상보들 체림보지 대바이나 이 최지하게 고가 이다고지 원에 자는 누스 나 체림보도 마디바이나 나 최지하게 고가다 이 상보들 최지하게 고가 라노도 나 체림보지 대고도 체림보지 대야다 가르치르스나 니 게종 두야 최 개와 두야라 체림보지 대바 주바이나 대원에 자네 펜토진 누사 드리 상호단에 때 칼라사 간다 칼라사 다 드리 사디 때 칼라사 드리 상호단에 사우디 다소슬라 간다 상호데 냥리지 콩수 다 레사 간다로 칼라사야 냥리지 콩수 레사 드리 상호단 것이 당보지로
So we should imitate the Bodhisattva's conduct and then trying to do a similar practice. So even we can also apply it in our daily activities as well, like for example eating food. So and when we eat food, the usual thoughts that will arise in us is, oh, I want to eat this food, I want to order this food because of its taste. It tastes very delicious. And if I eat this one, then I will have a strong body. And then I will, by eating this food, then I will look muscular or look very beautiful. So this is our usual thoughts when we eat food. And we should not. And if we eat like this, this eating, the actions of eating will only bring harms to us and will not bring any benefits to us. So just like Nagarjuna in his text letter to a friend, it says that so when we eat food, then we should treat it like a medicine, and we should not eat out of vanity, out of want to showing off, nor is another word I forgot already. So it's not haughtiness. And we should eat food. We should eat food like a medicine, and then we eat it without attachment nor anger, and then without vanity, without showing off, and without haughtiness as well. And this is how we should rely on food. So this is how we should eat food. So just like it, and so this is a very common. So this is a common verse that we will recite when we eat or when we make offerings. And so when we eat food, we should not have those thoughts like many others. They only think about the taste, think about want to look good by eating that food. And how we should think is just like the verse mentioned in Letter to a Friend by Nagarjuna, that we should eat it so that it sustains our bodies. So we should think about how to sustain our bodies. So the last line of the verse, So we should eat with a thought that we want to stay longer. So it sustains our body so that we can stay longer. Since we have a longer lifespan, and so that since we have a longer lifespan, then we're able to engage in Dharma practice. Then we're able to engage in Dharma practice for a longer time. Otherwise, we will lose the opportunity to practice Dharma, to practice virtue. So we eat thinking that we want to sustain our body so that I can practice Dharma, so that I can practice virtue. So this is how we should think when we eat food. And yeah, and by doing this, then we make eating food a kind of practice.
다 간다 공부를 두게 돼서 만나지 가슴에 단다와 근데 자시다 다 칼아도 사이 칼아 가르 그러잖아 미단다와 땡그레스 로와 다 미단다와 땡그레스 나수 수불라 나차지 요바이나 나차데 요바이나 나차데가 메바스야게 다 미디 사고와 나서페 미디 사고와 근데 미디 사고디 미들라 좋아 나모레스니 사바다 주보레스니 마사바 샤고 말와 미드 좋아 따고 말와 나서 수보가 나자데 파스야 치도 미드 사고와 나자데 파스야 치도와 내가 써야 치다 미들라 나모다 좋아다 주보 든디 자원이네 따고 말와 시나다 다디 파치 참마게 따고 말와 예 미드 주보이노 사고래 나모이노 사고래 카티노 사고래 로와 차후이노 사고래 간다와 오다 데 사야데 길세 가르스나 나자데 파 세야 되게 성당대로와 성대당대로와 오디 다 대가 나시 다 메라 성 대당바 나시 좋아다 들이 갖기를 따고 말해 다 맞고 칼라데 사야다 동야 컨디지나 다 좋아되게 수고 또 지야다 니버 지야게 이거 말와 대박게 이거 말와 미시 게 이거 말와 다 수수고 수고를 쥐땡게 칼라데 카티이나다 주보이나다 나모이나다 로아 간다 수수기 수고데 파 주르고 에투야 체르고 데투야 근데 주땡게지 칼라지 렌도나 다디 데나시신 미티마 나시신 데 사고레스고 근데 지네 사고레 마텔라 현자지 더 좋아 치비다드는 뜻들라 잡아 내고로와 현자 내고로와 또 수수기 수보데 쳐야 치도 들 상타 수보데 쳐야 된다도 다시 고듯이 봐 된다데 수수기는 최고요 두알라 수보디 야고 판다지 여바에 땅아도 기두 간디 제발 제투사레 되게 체도 이산이 그 칼라사 사와들라 자히 메바 데 간다 수보라 피야 오다 좋아다 저기 수보 배체리 못 되도야 되게 제발 이거 말아 니 미세게 이거 말아 아메테만 하시 두스레다
So like the verse in Letter to a Friend by Nagarjuna, the first line, it says, relying on food like a medicine. So relying on food like a medicine, what does it mean is when we felt sick, then when we felt sick, then we will eat medicine, right? We eat medicine in order to to heal us, to heal the sickness. So when we eat the medicines that is beneficial to our sickness, and we will not look at how it tastes, right? So even even if it's sweet, even if it is sour, even if it is bitter, even if it is spicy as well, and since it is beneficial to it heals our sickness, we will eat that medicines, right? So we eat the medicines without concerning its taste. So what we have in our mind when we are sick and when we eat medicines is, I want to heal, I want to recover from that sickness, and I eat these medicines that is beneficial to my sickness. So you will not have any concern for the taste. We do not have any concerns for the taste. And just like when we eat the food, and then we also do not we shouldn't have any concern for its taste as well. So whether it is sweet or sour, bitter or spicy, as long as it benefits our body, then we should eat that food and do not have any concern for its taste, just like we eat medicines. And if we have if we consider the taste of the food as very important, that it must be sweet or must be sour, it must be nice, and etc., then attachment has already arisen in us. So when we eat food, then we should eat like medicines, that we do not have any concern for its taste, so as to avoid attachment from arising in us. And then we eat food to take care of our body, so that I can practice Dharma practice for a longer time. So this is how we should eat food.
내가 이 당한테 도와드리다 칼라 도와주고 가서 세림보 디아서 스고라 피치치를 당이 도와이다.
라 건다.
칼라 도와주고 서로 당와이나 디 스고라 피치야다 스고 야고차 디 임치를 위해서.
Yeah, so when we eat food and if we only think about its taste, will it benefit our body? So this is my questions. When we eat food, if we only think about its taste, will it benefit our body?
Gisela, Kwa here. Gisela, most of the teachings, we are addressing the mental afflictions and how to overcome them. But this is only one of the maras, the mara of the afflictions. But we have three other maras, like Ramasung Kappa says in his Tripping Force of the Past, that these four maras are extremely difficult to oppose and they bind us very strongly into an iron cage. So my question is this, is that how do we address these four maras? Do we just concentrate, and as now, concentrate on the practice of overcoming the mental afflictions and leave the other three behind, or do we practice them sort of simultaneously all together? The mara of the aggregates, the mara of the what's the name, son of God, and the mara of death, of the Lord of Death. So how do we address this question? Gisela can give some advice.
제가 당기 두 계실라. 아니 가서 단다 뒤기 냐모라 냐마 뒤기 냐마래.
뒤기 포냐.
뒤기 포냐.
이게 레지다.
야, 제가 레이로 야. 아니 뒤기 포냐서 단다 장진진서 뒤로 이제라. 뒤레스. 아니 뒤 레시에 가서 양 딜리 시신다 요로 계실라. 아니 가서 뒤 치와기 치와기 뒤시 요로.
니모비디 푸비디.
봄비 뒤다 아니 뒤 치다기 뒤다 아니 치다기 뒤다 타이피 뒤다 아니 뒤 요몽기 뒤시 요로 계실라. 아니 뒤 뒤시 뒤 요비 토네 아니 가서 양 가서 양 뒤제제라. 아니 뒤 님보 땡기요나 야나디 뒤직라 님보 시라 님보 땡기요나 땡고요나 아니 소 냠낸 치당기 토네시나 아니 양 뒤 가서 뒤직라 뒤직 님보 땡 야나 뒤직라 님보 시라 님보 땡고 고요나
소소소소 배 카투마지 나지 데르와 님보 소소 카투 땡고 게친 보시다레스 나서 나지 로와 샴바 닌지 보내 단지 머리 박이 님보 뛴도 말했고 샴바 공바 단지 단지 머리 박는 것은 두고 말했고 와 좀 두고 말했어 와 다 단지 머리 박과 님보 비디 단지 머리 박과 파 님보 카투 띵하는 가서 돈이 또 비셔도 띵고 와 쉐로 때문에 고자와 중고를 마다 샴바 공바이나 고자와 좀 두고요 말 좀 두고 말 다 내가 나중에 가서 빼샤바이나 다 님보게 이제 샤기 뒤나 대샤기 뒤나 다들 같은 가서 같이 자라 아샤 대샤들 모두 봐서 같이 자라고 모두 봐다 공도라 샴바 이제 같이 자라 다 랑친지 디 단다 디지 포나서데 랑친지 디들라파 헤친지기 같이 자라 다 디지다 가서 님보 로디 방자들라파 소소 방자 코랑기 뭐도 간디엔도 그 뭐들라파 ila nimbo kar gugundo ta zongo shimbi tone de kanda nyane chiares wa semese ga tu dichila chansala pe nimbo te ya tis kalere wa.
Yeah, when we talk about four maras, so it's difficult for us to apply antidotes to four maras at the same time. So we must recognize to a particular mara, then we apply a particular antidotes. Like for example, if for example ignorance, and if we were to cultivate love, this will not serve as an antidote to counteract ignorance. So in order to counteract ignorance, then we have to cultivate its direct antidote, which is wisdom realizing emptiness. So similarly, when we want to apply antidotes to the Mara of afflictions such as attachment, then we have to cultivate ugliness, the ugly aspects of the object that we attach to. And if we want to apply antidotes to anger, then we have to cultivate love. And if we want to cultivate antidotes to self-cherishing attitudes, then that direct antidote is cherishing others. So we have to look at the object to which we apply antidotes. Then otherwise it's very difficult to apply one antidote to all the maras. Yeah, so regarding the maras, so this will come in next class. We'll discuss about it, the maras messengers in verse 7.
Thank you.
Just now regarding the question, is it?
Yes.
Is there a question?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry, Xiao. Can I just interrupt by asking remind the registered student to just complete their form? All right.
Okay,
you can continue.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. If we eat the food just because of the taste, just like Gisela said, it will bring harms to our body. Because first thing is, if we like the taste, then we might overeat. So our stomach is too full, then it may become difficult for us to digest. So it will bring harm to our body. Second is it may be attached to the taste. Then let's say sometimes we can't get the food, the same type of food, then we get upset. So this have a negative impact of our mental part or negative impact on our mind. And I think it's something like that. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, any tikish lagi kaza kantinang be chiwadi and then also kaza doa jibu iche tu kala sawaina and di subola pengiona and di subola pengi marisa subola nugi kansina di doa la shebo gabo chegiona and then also the kala mangta sana ne togo gyatha the chageres and togo gyatha chawaina and also kala de chua le kabo yoresa ni subola nugires ni kimse ni ba de joa jipo samlo tangwaina de shemba de gewaina and also pena chashena kala de mise de marawaina and also semba kyobo chageres and kaza pen kaza ji pen maresa.
Thank you. Good answer. Thank you. Yeah.
Nice.
Any question?
Any questions?
Sheila, can I just add? Is the Mara of the afflictions the more important, or rather, we should pay more attention to the delusions because so much things on it.
Delusions refer to which Mara?
Affliction, Mara of the afflictions.
Mara of afflictions. Yeah.
Yes.
Or should we pay more attention to?
The Mara.
Yeah. So your question is
because the mental afflictions is the one that we face all the time, and great anger, especially attachment. So so if we pay because you have to attack the 4 maras, but so doesn't mean that we should pay more attention to this particular one,
Oh, okay.
I mean, even like Santideva and the letter to a friend, all mostly addressing the mental afflictions.
Yeah. And it do she nang ne kechi should de nyomongi do de rebes. And then also did kaza kechenbo jia and it tambo zo de panggoya de nyomongi do in us.
다 너무 기치시 지로하고
Mm.
다 너무 딕종산을 되면서 다 다좀 공부하는 거야. 다좀 공부하는 거 너무 딕종산아.
Yeah, it's correct. It is most important because if we destroy the mara of afflictions, then we achieve the state of arhatship.
Thank you. This correct.
ngập chương trình xỉm số tham gia gì?
다 거시면서다 면에도 참자가 있어.
If no other questions, then we stop here. So.
먼저 기 자와디로 기와체로 토몬번 사비 기 자원들한테 내 간다 기템바 주반 도와도 내 제바도 와 간다 단다 자니 인텔라파 내양다 만투다 미기라서 버다 마요 아 정말 치료와 담보기스.
So we conclude the session with dedication. We dedicate the merits roots of virtue accumulated since beginningless time for Buddha Dharma to flourish in all 10 directions and for sentient beings to have happiness. And in particular, we dedicate these merits for the world peace. May the world be free of famine, free of pandemic, and free of conflicts and war.
그들이 순간에 단다 그 도는 그냥도 있는 거 감가도 맞아 주도 잡으려서 주도 잡으려 때 주도 순간 상황 있는데 주도 근데 와 차대 순간 그 상황 뭐하면 지금 비행을 그래서 비행을 다 간단 진노로 주도 용도 감가 다 나무 인데 근데 있는 상황 와다 나무도 좀 좋아도 봐 세는 대바이나 세고 토만스 디바파 타니 산지지 보면 믿어도 되게 치다 방어야 지다 그런다 세대 되니게 남은인데 간디지는 그 참아 간다 내는 참에 제 빠진 먼저 뭐요 그 세린 거디마 이치 필수 쪽에 많이 봐 지지요 되게 치다 밖에 좀 그렇지스 사만 대화치 주도 근데 와 차대 순간 그 빙그레 등어서 중요한 거 열었어.
Yeah, and so we all gathered here to discuss about Dharma, to have these Dharma teaching sessions. So we are Dharma friends to each other. So when we come together to dedicate the merits, then the benefits will become greater. So we also dedicate these merits to our family members. So and to our family members and close ones. And if any of them pass away already, then we dedicate these merits for their negativities accumulated since beginningless time to be purified quickly and achieve the state of enlightenment as quickly as possible. And if any of them fell sick, then we dedicate these merits for them to get well very soon. And then if they have any obstacles or any unconducive conditions, may it be purified as quickly as possible, and may their life be filled with happiness. Sabe wa di tendang duwa kuna kambe dang kewa jesun lo sang traba yi tembe nyingbo rendo se je sho sem cho rinpo che ma ke pa na ke kyu je kewa nyamba me pa yang kone kondo pe wa sho awe jida kenpa dang kundo sambo de yang de shin de de da kunge jesu da lo che kewa de da tam je ra tu ngo rinpo che ma ke pa na ke kyu je kewa nyamba me pa yang kone kondo pe wa sho awa rinpo che ma ke pa na ke kyu je kewa nyamba me pa yang kone kondo pe wa sho Jambu gewe ten jingyo miwe kunsu to bo ze chusum kuwe le me tu tu pa ta so tu je kun tu shap ten shu sun tu ju pe lang chi se 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 kan jen ten tu kun chan na pi mo ten jing kya zo la so wa de so shen de lun tu shu pen de ma lu ba kan le jung we sam pe yi shen no ka tin sung me ten jing kya zo la so wa de so tu she lun tu shu Kowe shinkan de pendan de wa ma lu jung we ne chen re se wang ten zi kya so we sha pe si te pa tu ten gyu chi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gisela. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Gisela.